Can I use it in Florida?
Nah, it's illegal here. 20 grams or less is a misdemeanor, and more than 20 grams is a felony.
Well, I have epilepsy. Should I try to get a medical marijuana prescription?
Now that's legal, but talk to your doctor first to see if it's a qualifying condition and if medical marijuana is even right for you.
I will, thanks.
If you had any idea how absolutely insane the stock market is,
unconventional wisdom is sweeping the nation, and you are next.
you need to stop being dependent on a paycheck.
The Del Walmsley Show is on WNN, Mondays at 5, Tuesday through Friday at noon. The following program does not necessarily reflect the opinions of the staff, management, ownership of the station. Jay and Janine are expressing their own opinions, and such is not a substitute for psychological or mental health advice. If you are experiencing an emergency, please hang up and call 911.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Momentum Mindset Show, where we're talking everything personal development, coaching, health, and the law. I'm your host, Jay, here with co-host Janine.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Please join us on Facebook, where we can be found at the Momentum Mindset Show. And if you want to call in and be part of the show, we would love to hear from you. It's 888-565-1470. And if being on live radio is not your thing, no problem. Send us your comments and we will interact with you on Facebook.
Let's create some momentum. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Momentum Mindset Show. I'm your host, Jay Farrow.
And I am Janine Davis, your co-host. Can you see what we may have done differently today? And I was actually going to bust in on Joe. Who's Joe? I don't know. Jay, I mean, and introduce the show. But he's quick on the draw, this kid. Holy moly.
It's my automatic now.
It is your automatic.
For over a year now, we've been doing this show.
Correct. Wow, you're fast. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy
It is so...
2020.
It's 2020. Okay, so who among us thought that by this time you'd have a flying car? Okay, thank you. I'm super sad about the flying car. However, I am more upset about the robotic maid that I don't have, because I really needed one. The creator of the Jetsons set me up to fail.
Well,
all of us. But didn't you think that when you were a little kid that by 2020 something a lot of amazing things have happened, and it's beautiful, and the technology is, I mean, we have computers in our hands now.
Yeah, the Jetsons didn't have one of those.
Yeah, the Jetsons did not have a smartphone. This is a thing of incredible beauty.
About the Jetsons? You know what came right before the Jetsons? Okay, if anybody can...
The Flintstones.
The Flintstones came right before the Jetsons.
You know what? That's a beautiful juxtaposition.
Did anybody ever catch that? Like the
You're right.
Like of you had Fred Flintstone and then you had the Jetsons, right?
Yes.
You know, and they had those little cars,
Stone Age versus future
with the feet.
Yeah.
And well, I was a personal fan of Fred Flintstone. Because he embodied everything that I
Please
thought a
tell
man
us why.
should be, you know?
Which is what? Please tell us. Because we may have people who listen to the show who are not of that Fred Flintstone era.
Okay,
So
I
please enlighten
I got
us.
a funny story about that too, but okay. Fred Flintstone, he was good with cars. Remember that? He had like the thing with the feet, right?
Yeah.
You know, like he carried around the only tool a man needs. Right?
Again, for those people who may not be familiar with that, could please enlighten.
Bat. Because a bat is a universal tool for men. Women don't maybe not understand that, but it really is. So, what's that? Oh, you went closer to the thing. So we're getting used to a brand new studio, and we're having a lot of fun here. And it is our weekly check-in right now.
Yes.
For everybody out there,
Yes.
we are accountability buddies and have been for quite some time now.
Yes.
In building businesses, and this week it's brand new. I have to acknowledge us over the last couple of weeks, and certainly within the last number of days, giving us an opportunity to evaluate our partnership. And I think it was, when stuff breaks down, it gives you the opportunity to break through. And I'm going to share this out there for all the entrepreneurs that do have partners out there that are considering, breaking up, all right? Because what I learned from our conversations, some really in-depth conversations over the last couple of days, is that my operating system created designed the partnership, as did the co-partner. I mean, we're both
100%.
equally accountable for what everything looks like.
Equally. No, I'm kidding.
And what's interesting, what I learned the other day in our meeting, was that no matter where we were to go otherwise, if we were to dissolve a partnership, or one of them at least, what would happen was you have two people who are going to make themselves right about what happened, going out into the world just to end up recreating what we had created.
Absolutely. Because, as you said, and that's true, and I've known this for a number of years, for when I became aware of it, wherever you are in the world, there you shall be. In other words, you are the common denominator in absolutely every single relationship that you have, the successful ones and the non-successful ones too. So you get to grow and you get to learn. And, you know, to the credit of our relationship, I can go to you and you can come to me. We can be with each other in such a way that I can say, look, I've had it, like XYZ doesn't work for me. Or you can come to me and say, look, I've had it with you. XYZ doesn't work for me either. What do you want to do about it? And we do, like we can get into it, and at some point we're like, okay, who's gonna gun for that door faster? But we end up talking it out because it's not lost on us that there's something really, really, really important to learn.
Right, and you know, when we were talking, what I found interesting was that some of the things that you said, and I'm sure we're not unique in this perspective. One of the partners will hold something back and quote unquote eat it, where they won't tell the other one about how they're feeling, or if they feel like they're taking on additional responsibilities for the partnership, and they quote unquote eat it to keep the peace. And then the other person doesn't understand how that other partner is going through whatever they're going through, and ultimately continues to act the same exact way. Both people in that circumstance lose.
Yeah.
They lose because being honest and sharing experiences is the number one most important facet of a healthy partnership. Being able to say, hey, you know, I felt this way in that circumstance, and the other person to take it neutrally and say, oh, let me take a look at that. For this, in service of the partnership and in service of each other, because, you know, for one person to not speak up and then walk away and saying, well, this person did all this, and make them bad and wrong, because the other person is going to do exactly the same thing. And unfortunately, something that was beautiful and creative and supportive of other human beings is no longer going to exist. What's worse still, I think, is that we are such powerful generators of our own experience that we don't realize that our operating systems will end up recreating exactly the same relationship. And I've used this analogy
Over and over again. Haven't you know, we all date the same person.
That's what I was going to say.
Over and over again.
You could literally have that, and I don't mean, we were talking about this, that
Right.
you can have a room full of 10 guys and 10 girls, and the lights go out, and then the lights go back on, like, you know, half an hour later, you find the person that
same
you used to
person.
date.
100%. I've been in a relationship for a long time with the same person over and over, and I get that. And so when listen, I think everybody has to make their own decisions. Everybody gets to. Hello, Glennie. Happy
What's
New
up,
Year.
Glennie?
Thank
Happy
you
New
so
Year.
much for commenting and always being such a wonderful support to us. You know, I think that there are times in certain relationships, for certain reasons, that it is time to call it quits. But that, for me, it's...
Hey, Janelle.
Hi, Janelle.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, my love. For me, that's only once everything that could have been done was done.
Mm-hmm.
And all avenues have been exhausted, and you're still really, like, in the law at an impasse. You know, and or not. You know, everybody has their different tolerance. I come from the perspective of we can transform this and we can get it right so that we can grow and move on with our lives, because we have the opportunity to do that. And that being said, even I, with that that attitude and that come from and that resilience and that perspective, even I can get to a point where I've had enough.
We have tripled the size of our business in the last year, and with that has come immense growing pains. The nature of our clients' claims has shifted. The size of our clients' claims have shifted in some circumstances.
Yep.
And then the overhead has, of course, been in keeping with that, is also shifted. And
Yeah.
with all of those things, plus with the additional stress of the different techniques that we're using at the law firm, it adds this level of discomfort that I only imagine 1 in a million people would be willing to put themselves through, because it's a constant conversation of going up against my automatic, the things that have kept me small in the past, and continually asking myself for more from my body, my business, relationship, and I sometimes I literally feel like I'm going through like another puberty. It's like all these growing pains, and it's heavy. It's really, really heavy, and
It can be very heavy. Hi, Jim. Happy New Year. Thank you so much for commenting and for listening. Thank you.
So this is our weekly check-in, and we had a bump in the road coming towards the end of the year, and I took ownership with what happened, and of course my part started with part financial, and it's like when those things show up. My way of being goes back to an old automatic. It was like I told myself it was never enough. I knew I was going to run out. I knew this was not going to happen, and it's this catastrophe mentality that I've done a really good job of shifting out of. But ultimately, when that behavior is so ingrained and so deep, it requires what we've been working on is a complete reboot and reprogramming of the subconscious mind.
Right.
So it was a great week. I mean, it was powerful.
Yeah, and from that, I think it was a very big breakthrough week, because we were able to, one thing I do have to give us a lot of credit. We've had our ups and downs a lot, to be sure, and I'm not always I know that I'm super amiable. I know that I have a million qualities, but one of my biggest deficits is that I do shut down. And when I shut down and I get quiet, and then I allow the stories to stew, and then I get mad, and then, I have those things. Look, I'm a human being having my human experience, and I try really hard. But I give us a lot of credit because we sit in that discomfort. Mm-hmm. And I give you credit because even though I get really upset with you sometimes, and you really upset me, and you make me mad, and other things, I do give you a lot of credit for sitting in that discomfort with me, because both of us have the impulse to shoulda, coulda, woulda, run for the door, because it's easier.
It's easier.
It's so much easier. And how do you, you're staring at someone and they're telling you something, and you're like, what, huh? But we sit there and we work through it,
And on the other side of this break, I want to talk about noticing how we've noticed it, becoming aware, and then the shift out of that, which is really the hero story in all of this, which I think is really the inspirational part of what we're doing here and what we're creating. So we'll see you on the other side of this break.
See you.
Farrell Law Firm, standing up to corporate bullies, using innovative, aggressive, and effective strategies to resolve disputes effectively and timely. Contact us at 954-252-9818, online at farrelllawfirm.com, and on Facebook at Farrell Law Firm. We look forward to being of service to you.
You've been listening to the Momentum Mindset Show
with Jay and Janine. Give us a call at 888-565-1470. And now back to the show.
And welcome back to the Momentum Mindset Show. Happy 2020, everybody. We just finished our roundup,
2020.
and I just wanted to report something. I just saw we had 21 views on Facebook. Now, I've never seen this thing go over 14 of live viewers, and so this is a huge win for
It's a
us.
huge privilege for us.
It really
to
is.
be here.
And here's what I was going to say before the break is that even though we went through the bump of the road, and even though we're up against it, and we go through what we go through, and we keep going, the gift is that we get to share that experience with everybody here and bring it and saying,
Yes.
hey, this is what happened with us. We're building a multi-million-dollar law practice, or we're building multi-million-dollar businesses, and right now that might not look like certain things the way that
Right.
I would say that evidence of those kinds of things are showing up.
Sure.
Yet, we get to bring the gift here to you of this is what it looks like to go through a transformation of your entire life. This is the space that you get to create with your with your business partner, with your coach, with us,
With your loved ones, with everybody, the people in your life.
because we wanted everybody to know that they matter. We want to know
Yeah.
everybody to know that they have a space here on the show, and we can give out our number, can't we?
Yes, we can. And guess who knows it by heart?
Go for it.
Oh my God. No, just kidding. 888-565-1470.
I stepped on that a little bit, so it's 888
565.
1470. And we'd love to hear from you. And
We'd
we
love
do
to hear
take
from
we
you,
do
and
take
thank
your
you.
calls.
Jim Davis is one of the people who is listening, and he wrote in Facebook, and he said, when there isn't authenticity, there cannot be adequate coordination from a spouse or coworker around what the other person needs or is requesting. This is where breakdowns can happen. Frustration is simply a request, not said. That is so true.
Mm-hmm.
It really, really, really is true. And it's true. Frustration is a request that hasn't been made. A complaint is a request that hasn't been made. So all of these things. But we get to learn because we're not perfect. We're progressing.
And this is the beginning of a new decade. And everybody that's watching the show, and even us, we get to decide what that is going to look like. And it's a very profound thing to actually, and this is the first time I'm actually doing it, looking at an entire decade. Like, right, 10
Yeah.
years, all right? I'm 44 years old right now. So the time I'm 54 years old, I mean, I could wrap my head around that a little bit. I know
Right.
the vision
It's
for
bizarre.
myself that I have. I know the vision for the business that we're creating. I know the vision for our Momentum program that we're also creating. And it's a tremendous amount of work, responsibility, and it requires connection, authenticity, and for us to continue to inspire one another.
Yeah.
So,
And I would say fearlessness, right? Fearlessness.
yeah.
I would say because and that is the courage, the authenticity, and all of that stuff. But you have to be not fearless, but you have to be willing to dance with your fear and move forward no matter what.
And so this year we've decided to make a couple of changes. One of them is here to show.
Yes.
And what we're going to be doing on Fridays now is we're going to a pure social media platform
For the Momentum Mindset Show.
for the Momentum Mindset Show,
Right.
and that's for now.
Yeah.
We're making space because we're not going anywhere because we're going to be on the same day.
Yes.
We're bringing back the Verdict TV show, which was very, very successful on
Yes.
Amazon Roku. And this show is about the David versus Goliath story, about the untold stories in the law, about cases that should get CNN's attention.
And
but
how it
don't.
pertains to you.
And how it pertains to you. Like
Yeah.
how to use the legal system to your advantage. How you always have a voice no matter what.
And also how to understand legalese, right? Because there is much like in the medical field, there's a vernacular. Every field has its own vernacular. It has its own language. It has its own trade secrets and its own way of expression. And so part of what I think is so intimidating to people when they find themselves in legal trouble is that half the time, for example, if you're served with a lawsuit, here you have all of these like formal way of speaking. Here comes now the plaintiff, the defendant. You don't know which one you are. It's very confusing. And so part of what we're doing is also explaining a little bit of the nuances of the law so that it can become more accessible to you. So, for example, Jay is the attorney. I am not an attorney. And I have the now privilege of being around attorneys because we have a second one in the office now. And so what happens is that I now have educated myself and understand what they're saying. But because I come from a non-lawyer background, I can break it down. Even though you're very good at doing that, I can further break it down because it's so of you, you don't even realize you're speaking legalese.
And I love the platform. I really do. And it's something that it was a brainchild for just this purpose, because I found that there was a disconnect with speaking to some of my clients about my my strategies, my thoughts, my concepts of the law. And Janine was very, very good at explaining this in a layman's terms, and bringing this to a platform where we're able to actually go deep about cases where people have been bullied.
Yeah.
And what are their rights? How do you talk back? How do you get a lawyer to connect to your case? How are you able to afford it when you're going up against Goliath? I mean, some of these law firms we're up against have 2,000 lawyers.
Yeah.
Actually, 90% of them that we're going up against have
and very, very deep pockets and nothing but billable hours on their hands.
How do you get the competitive edge? What is the strategy one would use to go up against a powerhouse like that? And that's what the verdict is all about, because it's there. It's never a question of not having the resources. It's always a question of how resourceful are you.
Correct.
And which is where everything else in life. And so we are bringing the mindset
of the momentum mindset, actually,
into the law. And we've been doing this with our clients for almost 2 years now, and supporting with them with sharing with things that blow their mind. For instance, like litigation's an opportunity. People think about like, oh my God, I was defrauded out of all this money, and this happened, and someone took advantage of me. Yes, okay, and there's a remedy for that. But also taking a look at things from another perspective. How could you use this in your life? Not just for the lessons that you have, but how could you make money off litigation? People are like, what are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, this is an opportunity to make money. Well, how do you do that? Well, we can evaluate certain things, not just the amount of money that you might get from the case, but it's an opportunity to meet people. It's an opportunity for networking. It's an opportunity to hand out your business card where you never thought possible before.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity to say, hey, you're helping me with this. What do I have on my plate that maybe you could support me with? And it really creates a space between people to have something in common to talk about and to create some business possibly together. Everything is opportunity. Every challenge is just a disguise of opportunity.
Right.
So we're bringing the verdict back, which is going to take the place.
It's going to take the radio slot from 6 to 7 of the Momentum Mindset Show, which is why we're not doing away with the Momentum Mindset Show at all. It is our love. It is one of our babies that we've created, and it's not going anywhere. It's just changing platforms. And then to replace it, we're bringing on the Verdict TV at 6 p.m. Every Friday. So both shows will be every Friday.
So the beginning of this year couldn't have started out better. And I would just say this: we got a decision yesterday.
Yes, from a huge
case. From one of our cases.
So exciting.
And it was at the end of the day, and it's from one of our large cases, and we're going to be talking about it in the verdict. And it just goes to show you that sometimes you don't know what's going on in the courts, and it's also a lesson. The courts can take their time in making decisions.
Right. So in federal court, the judges have huge dockets, and they've got to get through a litany of things from small cases to large criminal cases that they have to write opinions on, and the judges have a lot of work on their plate. So of course we're self-centered, and we want it to be all about us. And how come the judge, who's
no, he's very busy, doesn't?
Yeah, exactly. How come she's not getting to us? What does that mean?
And at the end of the day, we understand that their jobs, that they're doing God's work, and it's just one of those things.
Exactly.
And we got a really good decision.
Yes.
And
so
we're very, very excited about it.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I think that
well, for those on the other side who believe they're above the law or they can manipulate the law, this is what justice can do for you.
Yeah.
Slap. So it's good stuff.
And all this, we have the wins, we have the losses, we have the struggles, we have the frustrations.
Yes.
And the thought is to keep going no matter what. And that concept, momentum, is what keeps this train going no matter what. And to be able to open up conversations even when you hit a bump in the road is something I want to talk about, like on the other side of this next break. But I want to say this. It is 2020, and last year at the same time we were talking about New Year's resolutions.
Yes.
Okay, and I want to talk about that today as far as some of the things that I'm committed to for this year, some of the things
Wonderful.
that I'm committed to with my body, with my business, with some of the other personal things that I'm working on. As far as I almost call them hobbies. They're not hobbies. They're actually legitimate. Like
Absolutely.
I'm working on some very important things in music. And you asked me a powerful question, on the way over here. It's like, how do you start your day to make that happen? And I get that question quite a bit. It's like, how do I start?
Yeah, the question really was like, what does your perfect day look like for you to give you that, to set you up so that you feel like at the moment your feet hit the ground when you're getting out of that bed, that you're being set up to win?
And we want to hear from you listeners. It's 888-565-1470.
Please don't be shy.
Don't be shy.
For 2020, call on in.
And I want to hear it from anybody out there. How do you start your New Year's resolutions? What do you start your day with to get yourself going, to go after those resolutions? We're going to hit this on the other side of this break. So we'll be right back.
Stay tuned.
Farrow Law Firm, standing up to corporate bullies, using innovative, aggressive, and effective strategies to resolve disputes effectively and timely. Contact us at 954-252-9818, online at farrowlawfirm.com, and on Facebook at Farrow Law Firm. We look forward to being of service to you.
You've been listening to the Momentum Mindset Show.
With Jay and Janine, give us a call at 888-565-1470. And now back to the show.
Welcome back to the Momentum Mindset Show. I'm laughing because, one of the questions we asked during the break was, who initiated that conversation about, your guys' partnership and, where it was going and the possibility that some of it might be ending. And it was Janine. And then, and then she said that my response was actually, I thought my response was
your response was
rather transformational, to be honest with you.
I know, I was joking.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, because
Okay.
I said that he was hurling all kinds of superlatives to me, but that's not true. He did not do that. He really did not do that. So, for the record, I was joking. But the producers are working hard. One of the producers is paying attention, and the other one is kind of like siphoning in and out of the conversation. So he's missing it, which is why I think it got confused.
Okay, got it. Yeah, because I was like, that was rather transformational. Actually, no, what I did say, though, I said I was ready to burn down the village, and I've written about this. I was like, okay, if this is the case, then none of this needs to happen. You know?
Yeah.
I'll just walk away, and then no one will hear from me again, kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
I'll just be like a passing gas in the wind kind of thing.
Good Lord.
And I'll say this. If you're having or going to have a conversation with your partner, let's say that your New Year's resolution is to get some things straight with your partner, with your business partner. Great, good for you. And, allow your humans to show up as well as your evolved self, because recognizing the humanity in all this is I think so missed. If I would have come out with superlatives, or if I would have come out yelling and screaming because of what you said, and that would have probably lasted 2 or 3 minutes. And if you're able to get through those 2 or 3 minutes and everything settles down, okay, I don't know if she'll get through 2 or 3 minutes. I think she'll be all right. I'm just saying, if you're able to do that and allow a human to show up and allow the reactions to happen, and then everything calms down instead of anybody storming out, if you guys give yourself that cooling off period to recognize that the first reaction, and I've said this I think before, and if I haven't, here it goes, I am not responsible for my first reaction, but I am responsible for my second.
I don't think I've ever heard you say that. Speak more into that.
I am
Because
not.
I think that's a very interesting concept.
Because my
and I get
first
it.
reaction is in survival. My first reaction is my human showing up saying, you know what, if it's the superlative, if it's, physical, no, it's not, if it's reactionary, it's going to be reactionary because of we are animals after all. And if we feel like we're being pushed into a corner,
Yeah,
if we feel
attacked.
like if we're being attacked, the first reaction that you're naturally going to have is going to be your human reaction. You're entitled to it. As a matter of fact, celebrate it.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that even a part of it supports the breakthrough that you're about to have. Don't hide your human. Okay, when I say you're not responsible for your first reaction, but you're responsible for your second, is that okay? Your first reaction is going to be that human, survival. I'm going to roar kind of reaction, and then things slow down. And my second reaction is going to be okay. Let's take a look at this. Okay, let me take a look at this from a neutral perspective, from an awareness perspective, and say, okay, what can I learn from this? What is my role in this? And how can I use this as opportunity? That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when people think about when you went through the conversations that you must have to sit down and say, Jay, this doesn't support me. This doesn't support me. Okay. Also, were you prepared for the human response, or did you expect the Did I do okay?
No, I personally always prepare for the human response.
Not just with me.
No, not just with you, but with you in particular. but yes, I do. Well, because listen, I know you're like my bro. Like
Right.
it's a thing. And this is the other thing I'd like to tell people too. Just because it has a two-edged thing. Look, Jay and I know each other for many, many years now. We've been through a lot of things that most people, I'll be honest with you, shoulda, coulda, woulda, never survived, honestly. And that's a really beautiful thing. And it also has like a dark side, because what happens is that ultimately you just think that the person's always going to be there, and that's not true.
Yeah, I'm always gonna be friends.
The biggest mistake that people make in life, in any relationship, you do it with your kids, you do it with your spouse, you do it with your coworkers, it doesn't matter. The second that you lose sight of the person's innate value and treasure, you're losing it. You're just totally losing it. You lost it for yourself, you lost it for them, and you're chipping away at the integrity of the relationship.
And don't forget
right?
that person's doing the best that they can with what they have at that particular time.
Sure. So, but the reason I say all of that is to say this. At the end of the day, I can come to you and have these really sort of deep, profoundly uncomfortable conversations, in part because I love and trust myself 100%, the way I may not have even a month ago. So number one. Number two, I love and trust that life is always happening for me, really, in earnest, even at the risk of losing something, because I don't believe in that anymore, actually. I don't believe I lose anything. The other thing is, I love and trust you at the end of the day, that you will show up in your highest best, even if I don't agree with you. And when you have those things in place, I think that there is a huge possibility for growth. Do those things happen in tandem all the time? No. But you know what? The stars align more often than they don't, and more often than we give them credit for.
And so what this created for us is the opportunity to reevaluate our partnership agreement.
Yeah, and rules.
Not just our partnership agreement, because that's just a piece of paper. And this is
Correct.
important for all you entrepreneurs out there that are in partnership. Practicing partnership.
Yes.
Not just the piece of paper. Having the piece of paper is a start. But practicing partnership, we're coming to learn, involves a whole lot more than just that. It involves the uncomfortable conversations, yes, but anticipating those issues before they happen in the form of a weekly partnership meeting.
Yep.
This is a physical manifestation of practicing partnership, is a weekly meeting to go over partner stuff that only partners can attend, so that way partners can make decisions together. And that is something that we had partnership conversations, but not a partnership meeting once a week to handle all, like the stuff that we're going through. And it's like, well, you wonder, like, how did we get here? Well, it's because we didn't take a look at this, piece by piece by piece by piece.
Well, yeah, and part of that too is because we were in survival for so long, and so we didn't attend to it. But life, again, in the spirit of life is always happening for you, things show up that bring you to a screeching halt so that you can no longer not pretend to see what you're not pretending to see, or you can't pretend not to see what you would. And so life will create the situation to bring you to the point where you get to create new rules of engagement for the health of the partnership itself, but also the health of everything that you touch. And that, in our case, are our businesses.
And it doesn't take getting to the pain point that it's either change or everything is goes to the wayside or gets destroyed.
No.
I have designed in my life those pain points because I felt like they were necessary, and I don't need to do that anymore. I mean, that was something that I recognized the other day, is that had we taken a couple more steps in the other direction, that would have been, the end of something that we had created together. And yeah, it would have been fine. I'm sure you'll be fine. I'm sure I would be fine.
Yeah.
But this wouldn't be fine. What this unique,
Right.
this unique flavor of personal development, of transformation, of the work that we're doing together.
The honesty and the vulnerability. Like, I give you so much credit. It's not that you are someone who is really okay being so open about so many things. I grew up in a household where I was always told, shh, you talk too loud, or shh, oh my God, that's for the family. You don't share that outside in the world. And so I grew up very English and very sort of stoically European in many ways, even though my late mother was Colombian, but I would say she was more Spanish in the way she was than she was even Colombian. So it's comfortable for me to discuss these things publicly, but I do so now because you helped me to understand that actually what I go through, or what we go through, or what any other human being goes through, it can be in service. It's not gratuitous. It can be in service to another human being, because there are other people who were struggling with these very issues, like they can't say what they really mean, or they're afraid to lose, or they're afraid to this, that, or the other. And here we are, two people trying to do the best we can, saying, look, we got into these really gnarly sort of situations, and we also have the grace to look at them, to confront them, to deal with them, and then see how we can do better.
And the thing is that once you commit to doing something, anything that you're committing to that is going to be in service to yourself or to a partnership, immediately something's going to show up. Immediately. For me, this morning was 2 hours of traffic. I don't understand yet, and maybe I will one day. So God help me. And I'm just going to say this because I know I'm in Radio Land. If somebody on 95, one of you workers, could please explain to me why on a Friday morning during rush hour traffic you would block the turnpike this morning. I mean, and just with no rhyme or reason, you just blocked it heading northbound. And maybe because you figured that I could use another hour and a half in my car.
Well, it was so funny. He called me and he was you were telling me about, like, oh my God, and I was like, okay, so
She
I
tells
hear
you,
you.
can you make some phone calls?
I know. I was like, okay, so you're stuck in the traffic. So what else could you do with your time, though? Like, you could make some phone calls. You could listen to a really amazing Audible. You could listen to something amazing on YouTube. And he was like, I gotta go, Pollyanna.
Anyway, I just wanted to, if anybody could write into the show or give me a call or, write me personally, I just want to know what was going on, because I really appreciate
the extra time bonding in the traffic.
The fourth time that I listened to this Jim Rohn 1979. Have you heard this one?
You know what? You had it on in the car on our way here, and I was like, wow, he could use some coaching in terms of and I'm thinking to myself, in terms of like inflection and speaking with passion and engagement.
So we had a partnership meeting at 9 o'clock this morning, and I called her. It's at 8 o'clock, and I'm actually in the good part of 95. I didn't hit the traffic. And
I'm coming from the beach.
She's coming from the beach, and so she's a little bit
Miami
ahead of me. And
Beach.
she had hit the traffic, and I was like, never mind. It's like, whatever it is, what it is. What we didn't realize that we were actually having the partnership meeting right then and there, and we did talk about some of the things that we needed to handle for today. Allowing that when you commit to something, whether it be a partnership meeting, and this goes for all your New Year's resolutions, it's not going to look how you think it's going to look. Like
All of the time,
even
right.
if it's you saying that I'm going to go to the gym, and you make it like to walk around your block for the first couple of days as you're trying to get to the gym, use that as the win that you're going in the right direction. Because so many times people say, well, I didn't make it to the gym, and I'm guilty over here. Like, I didn't make it to the gym, so I'm not going to do it today. And because I didn't do it today, I'm not doing it tomorrow. And then all of a sudden a week
just
goes
throw in
by,
the towel.
and it's January 15th, and you're like, well, next year, you know, or
Exactly.
and that's it, and you quit. Don't quit on yourself. It might not have looked today as you thought it was going to look, because everybody
Right.
has that vision in their mind. And when I used to drink, I did on New Year's Eve, like, you know, tomorrow morning I'm going to be that guy jogging. You know, that guy. You know the guy. You know, and mind you, like at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm doing my last shot, and I'm like, you know, and the guy's jogging past me. It's like, no, that's not gonna happen. But if you could put that shot down at 4 o'clock in the morning, as opposed to like 6 o'clock in the morning, it might not look like you thought it was gonna look, but it does look. If you're headed in the right direction, so give yourself a break, and then eventually the things will eventually show up. We
Yeah,
didn't make the
they'll
partnership
click.
meeting today, but we're talking about doing something this evening when we get done with the show, and just going over some points to say that yes, we committed to doing it today, we handled it today, and now we're going to move forward, because that gives you that win, that thing in your plus column. And I
Yeah.
wrote about this on Facebook last night, which, by the way, I've been writing for the last couple of days. It felt really, really good.
Please keep that up. I feel like it's
It's
really a
like
huge part of
keeping
your
promises.
development and your
I don't call
journey.
them, I was like, wait, what's a better word than New Year's resolution? How about promises, new promises, keeping promises to yourself, commitment.
commitment. Absolutely,
Because
commitment.
every time I kept a commitment and every time I kept a promise to myself in the last couple of years, it built one thing that I have that I didn't have, and that's self-esteem. That self-esteem,
Self-esteem.
and that's really what a New Year's resolution is all about, is building self-esteem for the year to go after the goals that you want to go after.
Absolutely.
And whether it's in a partnership meeting, whether it's going to the gym, whatever your goal is for this year, whatever it looked like today, don't give up on yourself. Because I know the third, it's like you have this like, it's called the law of diminishing attention. And the law of diminishing attention is what it sounds like. It's like, okay, it's New Year's Eve, I got it, let's go charge up the hill, I'm gonna go do it. And then the next day hits, and then you didn't do it. And the next day, and the next day, and all of a sudden you go into another weekend, and this has been an odd holiday season, and then all of a sudden you're into the next Monday, and it's like, it's so easy for you to quit on yourself.
Yep.
Don't do that. Do something towards that goal. Even if it's just something really, really small, because that's a win. And whatever
It is.
wins that you could put in your pocket, build that self-esteem.
Absolutely.
So we were talking about this thing about practicing partnership, and it's like practicing anything new is things are gonna pop up right away, and then test how committed you actually are.
Yeah. Absolutely. And listen, life shows up, things show up, traffic jams show up, all kinds of different things happen. You know, unexpected phone calls, unexpected things. And you still get to design your life in a way that you do keep the promises to yourself, even if it's later on in the day, even if you make sure you reschedule it and have it firmly planted. All kinds of different, there's so many different ways to handle it. You get to figure it out, but it's also about putting yourself first.
And I'll give you
making yourself a priority in your life. I know you want to say something. Please give me 1 second, because I want to roll with this for a moment. The last couple of days, I really I took pockets of time and really sat on what I want my life to look like. Even down to what I want to look like. And I've done that before, but I think almost even with a different energy. And living, you know, being extremely intentional about what it is that I want, and speaking in desire as opposed to, well, I don't want this, and I don't want that, and I don't want this, and I don't want that. Oh, we already know that. I got it, Janine, I got it. But so now it's almost even employing the vernacular and the discipline to speak in the language of desire, which is why even I want to, you know, and you and I discuss this, even when we talk about the business or the partnership, or I want to speak in possibility. Struggle is overrated, and I'm kind of done with it, actually. And it's not because things don't become challenging, but I'm challenging myself to change the way I perceive my life experience. So
we have, and we're going to take one more break. Here's the thing that I was just thinking about. Anybody out there that has that New Year's resolution that you're committed to creating, I think it would support you to tell us right here, right now on the radio, either on Facebook or give us a call. Preferably be giving us a call.
please give us a
So
call.
anybody, because I know there's a bunch of you guys listening out there in radio, in Facebook land anyway, give us a call right now. Tell us your New Year's resolution and see what we can all do to support you to get there.
Yes.
To give you that one win today would be the phone call. It's 888 565-1470. We're going to take a break, and we'll hopefully hear from at least one of you on the other side of this break.
Farrow Law Firm, standing up to corporate bullies, using innovative, aggressive, and effective strategies to resolve disputes effectively and timely. Contact us at 954-252-9818, online at farrowlawfirm.com, and on Facebook at Farrow Law Firm. We look forward to being of service to you.
You've been listening to the Momentum Mindset Show.
With Jay and Janine, give us a call at 888-565-1470. And now back to the show.
And welcome back one more time to the Momentum Mindset Show. Again, we'll hear from one of you or a couple of you. We have another few minutes until the end of the show. It's 888-565-1470. I was starting to talk a little bit about what my resolutions are. Like, I'm not going to call them resolutions, but promises to myself. And
Glennie just said the word promise is a big word, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and the promises that I have to myself this year, some include my commitment, my promises to my music, to writing, and I met with Janine Robledo yesterday, and I'm meeting with Mara Campbell on Sunday. And these are two people that I'm working with on their two respective shows, two respective musicals.
Such an honor.
I mean, I just to think of the blessing just to be able to say that, and just one of the things that I've always wanted to do in my dreams. And it's like right here. It's like here you go. Not just one.
Well, that's so interesting because notice how when there was, this is what I'm talking about too, like with the struggle. It came to you so easily because you had no resistance over it. It's almost like you wished you wished upon a star and you let it go and it just came to you.
Right.
Literally right place, right time. And so many of the things that I've been studying lately, this is what they're saying that our lives are supposed to be like. And that is my commitment to this year, to really allowing that sort of ease and fun and the surprise and delight of what shows up in life, and expecting the good things. Not knowing what they are necessarily, not being concerned about them either, just knowing that they're there and you get to enjoy them. And I think that this is such a beautiful example because that's the one area in your life that you weren't gripping on. You didn't have a death grip on.
Right.
And look at how beautiful it just plucked.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It really is. My health, of course, is always the top of my list. And I have a workout regimen and a new thing that I'm working on for my health. And relationship. I have some big things coming up in my relationship this year. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to that.
Yay. And for me, too, I would say putting our money where our mouth is in terms of the excellence in the businesses, really getting that sort of on point, very, very focused on living into our beliefs and the things that we're creating. For me, music also, I want to get out performing and doing more things, which is really, really on my heart to do. And yeah, getting my health. I want to feel super energetic. I want to like live to the maximum and just have that energy and vitality running through me all the time and be radiant.
So the elephant in the room is actually this is the big New Year's resolution.
Hold on, I'm not done. And our personal development programs. This is like okay. That was a really big one. Oh, and for me also, well, and we'll get to that because we're going to speak to that more, but also allowing certain things in my personal life to blossom the way they should, or the way they were meant to blossom, and stop being such a ball buster. So, yeah. So allowing, a lot of allowing and fun.
Are we going to be allowed to use more superlatives when we go to
Oh, I can't wait. So
media?
when we go to social media, you're going to really understand that Jay and I have Tourette syndrome, or a form of Tourette syndrome, and that the incredible the incredible
We're-
effort that
we are
it takes
so-
for us
you
not
have-
to swear on the radio is something unbelievable.
I just want to acknowledge you, especially because you're very creative with your superlatives, and our effort combined. I dropped one S-bomb in this entire year.
Right.
He caught it, but I definitely dropped one.
Wow. Okay. You know, I don't think I have. Which is, yeah. Oh my God. I have like 10 more minutes. Let me not, or no, I have a few more minutes not to drop one. But yeah, it's yeah. We like a swear word or two between us, that's for sure. So, and yes, Momentum Mindset Program.
So-
Speak into that.
So we have committed to our coach that we're going to be working for the next 3 to 6 months on a regimented plan of action, and I'll tell you this, even though we love it, even though it's a dream of ours to be on stage and working with people one on one, it's like anything else. Actually, it's unlike anything else because it's like when you have that passion, you have the desire. Fighting against that passion and desire is your fear of being seen, your fear of really being out there and then being judged, and all of those things that pop up, that make everything else in the world more important than actually getting the work done that you really, really want to do. That to me is the work. I mean,
Yeah.
how is it possible that we're sitting on the radio and this has become safe and comfortable for Janine and I? And I'm sorry, I don't want to speak for you, but it's become safe and comfortable for me. And this year we get to stretch ourselves. My commitment, my real big New Year's resolution is don't be lazy. Anywhere else that I can, well, not don't be, but I want to be committed to being in action. But I'm looking for my laziness in my life. And to cut that out. And I even said to Janine, I was like, I'm even going to clean inside of my toes. Like, not to say that I need to do that every single day. But and wait, because I brought up the thing with flossing. I've been flossing
The
lately.
depth of conversation, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here first.
Because you know what? You have those little scrubby things that you get from CVS, Sevis,
Yeah.
and you have like which I don't know what you call it because I'm a guy, but they're these like things that you wash yourself with.
Yeah,
It's
the
not
the like
it's
scrunchy
not- it's
things,
like a
the
wash-
loofah
Yeah.
thingies, the scrunchy.
Okay, so I
Loofah thingy.
okay, I have now gotten to where I'm scrubbing in between my toes now, like on a daily basis, which is just insane because it's how much time that
Insane.
takes with everything else. That for a guy to be in the shower that long is unhealthy. But I'm just saying, I'm doing it. Why? Because I felt that it was lazy for me not to do it. I'm flossing every day now. Why? Because it was lazy for me not to do it. I mean, and so these are the things that I'm committed to. And what's funny is what's shown up is the order from the court. The big wins that we're having with the law firm. You and I gotten through the conversation about our partnership. I mean, we've had some new clients, some new wins, some things coming out of the woodwork, and I credit it because I'm flossing and I'm cleaning my toes. Why? It's a matter of cutting out the laziness in your life.
I think that's huge. I really do, honestly. I mean, yeah, and congratulations. And you know what? Listen, again, this is not something that people would be so ready to admit. I think all of us have a lazy bone, and not all of us are willing to talk about
But
it.
look for your
So-
laziness in your life. If it's
Yeah.
in between your toes, clean in between your toes. And
Yeah.
what's gonna be
Where is your
amazing-
lazy bone, and how is that holding you
I
back?
guarantee if anybody that's watching who doesn't normally wash their toes, and guys, come on, dude, it's not happening. Not everybody here is washing in between their toes. If you do that for 2 weeks and then you write into the show and you tell me what's showing up in your life, it could be a new girlfriend, it could be a marriage, it could be this, it could be a new business opportunity.
Clean your toes and you cut
It's
yourself away.
because you've chosen to take your life to the next level. I mentioned to you in the car, it's like I'm going to be dressing up to go to work from Monday to Thursday in this coming year. Why? Because it's a signal. It's the physical manifestation of taking my life to the next level. I know at the end of the day, because I cleaned in between my toes, I flossed, and I wore a tie to work, that you know what? I'm doing something different. If you want something to change everything. I mean, look at every single pocket of your life, and
Yeah.
if you can find laziness, stomp it out, stamp it out, do whatever you got to do to get that stuff out for this year. It's time. It's like, and how do you do it? You clean in between your toes. Is it take more time? Yeah. Is it annoying? Yeah. Would people, if who are watching it, would be questioning, what is he doing? Yeah. And guess what? It is going to show up.
life-altering,
It's going to show
people.
up everywhere else because if you see one person do one thing, you've seen them do everything.
That's it.
So now you know I got clean toes. All right, next week we're going to be on the air, but we're going to be on Facebook and social media. We're going to start at 4:30.
4:30
and then join us
p.m. on
right
Friday.
thereafter for the Verdict TV show. It's
At
going to be
6
live here on the
p.m.
radio, 6 p.m. on the radio.
That's
Thank
it.
you very much for watching. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year,
Clean those-
2020.
Clean those toes. Thank you for listening to the Momentum Mindset Show. For your hosts, Jay and Janine, we'll see you here next week. Thank you for being real, authentic, and honest.
If you'd like to reach us, please contact us on our Facebook page, The Momentum Mindset Show, or on our office phone line, which is 954-559-6987.
We are stronger together.
And remember, keep going.